I let my best friend stay in my house for 1 week. 3 months later, the police knocked on my door. I never imagined that one simple favor would almost destroy my entire life. Looking back now, every warning sign was right in front of me, but I ignored them because I trusted the wrong person. If you're the kind of person who always says yes to friends, learn from my mistake, because kindness can become the perfect weapon in someone else's hands. My name is Daniel. I'm 32, live in Ohio, and work remotely as a software engineer. I lived alone in a quiet neighborhood, and life was predictable. My best friend Ryan and I had known each other since college. We'd been roommates, survived terrible jobs together, and even stood beside each other at family funerals. If anyone had asked me who I trusted most outside my parents, I'd have answered Ryan without thinking. One evening, Ryan called me sounding desperate. His apartment had flooded after a pipe burst, and repairs would take about a week. He asked if he could stay with me. Of course, I agreed. He thanked me over and over, promising he'd be gone before I even noticed. The first few days were completely normal. We watched basketball, ordered pizza, laughed about old memories. But by the end of the week, Ryan suddenly claimed the repairs were delayed. Then another excuse appeared. 1 week quietly became 3. I didn't want to seem rude, so I let it go. Small things started disappearing. Cash from my desk, my expensive headphones, a watch my grandfather had given me. Ryan always had an explanation. Maybe you misplaced them. I actually believed him. Eventually, he moved out, thanking me for saving him during a difficult time. I thought that chapter had ended. 3 months later, around 6 in the morning, loud knocking shook my front door. 2 police officers asked if I was Daniel Carter. I nodded. One officer looked at me seriously and asked, "Do you own a black SUV?" "I don't even own an SUV," I answered. They exchanged confused looks before asking if I'd ever heard of a storage warehouse 2 towns away. I hadn't. Then they showed me paperwork, my name, my address, my signature. According to the documents, I'd rented a storage unit containing thousands of dollars worth of stolen electronics connected to multiple burglaries across the state. I laughed because I honestly believed it had to be some ridiculous mistake. The officers didn't laugh. They searched my house, took my laptop, phone, and financial records. Neighbors watched through their windows as if I were some dangerous criminal. At the station, I kept insisting I'd never rented any storage unit. That's when detectives asked a simple question. Has anyone ever had access to your driver's license or personal documents? My stomach dropped. Ryan, while staying with me, he borrowed my wallet once, claiming he needed to verify my age while ordering drinks online after losing his own ID. I hadn't thought twice about it. Detectives discovered someone had scanned my license, forged documents, opened credit accounts under my name, and rented the warehouse using my identity. Security footage showed a man wearing a baseball cap. The image was blurry, but I recognized the walk immediately. Ryan. The police launched a search, but he'd vanished. My credit score collapsed almost overnight. Debt collectors called daily. My bank froze several accounts during the investigation. My employer temporarily suspended my security clearance while everything was reviewed. I spent months proving I wasn't the criminal. Every receipt, GPS record, work login, and security camera from my neighborhood became evidence proving where I'd actually been during the burglaries. One detective privately admitted that if my company hadn't kept detailed login records, I might have been charged before investigators discovered the identity theft. 6 exhausting months later, Ryan was finally arrested in Arizona after trying the same scam using another friend's identity. When investigators searched his apartment, they found folders filled with copies of driver's licenses, social security numbers, bank statements, and family photos belonging to people who had trusted him. I wasn't his first victim. I wasn't even his 5th. During the trial, Ryan never once looked at me. His attorney claimed he was struggling financially and made poor decisions. Poor decisions? He nearly destroyed my future. He nearly sent an innocent man to prison. After he was convicted, detectives returned several stolen items recovered from different storage units. Among them was my grandfather's watch. Holding it again felt strangely emotional. It reminded me that some things can be recovered. Trust isn't one of them. Today, keep important documents locked away. No one stays in my house for weeks anymore, no matter how convincing their story sounds. Friends sometimes joke that I've become paranoid. Maybe I have. But every time someone says, "You can trust me," I remember standing in that interrogation room while strangers decided whether I was a thief. And I remember the painful truth I learned far too late. The most dangerous person in your life isn't always the stranger watching from the shadows. Sometimes it's the friend sleeping in your guest room.